So we're continuing the topic of STP with the final part of target marketing, which is positioning, the P of STPs, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So first we start with a definition. Positioning is designing the company's offer and image so that it achieves a distinct and valued place in the customer's mind. So it's all about the impression that the vibe we're trying to put out to the customer, and the vibe that they'll pick up, essentially. And so we have a strategy. Obviously, we can't control what's in the mind of the customer, but we use our marketing campaign to try and influence what they think of us. Obviously, that's the end game. And we can have many different types of positioning strategies. The basic ones can be based on price. Are we known to be the best value, the cheapest, the most expensive, luxury? Is it based on quality, the most reliable product, and so on? The car in front is a Toyota. That was a campaign devoted to positioning Toyota cars as the reliable one, because that's the one that's not breaking down. That's the one that's passing you out or ahead of you always. Service excellence, degree of innovation. So Apple, this is their positioning strategy, is degree of innovation. They are positioning themselves and their products as the most innovative on the market. They are the ones coming up with the new slick designs and extra features and so on. Degree of differentiation, so offering the choice to the customers, or customization, that individualized approach, and so on. Other strategies could be based around features of the product, the benefit of the product. We talked about toothpaste before, fast-moving consumer goods. It doesn't really warrant getting to know customers in depth and their attitudes on life. Some people just want teeth whitening toothpaste. Some people want better breath, and some people want tartar protection, and so on. So the market is segmented by the benefits or the features. Those are interlinked, those 2 points. So the occasion can be another way of positioning, so a gift purchase and so on. Type of user, competitive conditions in the market, and so on. So Colgate and Coca-Cola are positioned on their features. Coca-Cola is all about the taste, the unique taste. Some people just prefer Coke to Pepsi or crappy cola, whatever brand is out there that makes up that tiny proportion of other colas. Colgate, as I mentioned, segments by the different types of toothpaste. So with cola, they are, as I said, positioning on taste, but the features are diet or regular, and so on. Usage occasion, so Discover Ireland is the holiday. Obviously that is, they promote all the tourist type amenities available in Ireland, whether it's hotels or adventure centers or shops dedicated to tourists and so on, that kind of thing. The type of user, so Kellogg's positions on the type of user, Special K as opposed to cornflakes. You can imagine the differences there. So positioning is the act of designing the company's offering so that it occupies a meaningful and distinct, very important to be distinct, a distinct position in the target customer's mind or consumer. Effective positioning is the act of linking products and services to the solutions the customers seek. So Diet Coke, I'm not going to click through to the link just now, but you can probably call to mind some of their advertising for their that drink versus Coke Zero. So Diet Coke is essentially the same product as Coke Zero, but they position them as a male drink or a female drink. So keys to successful positioning are clarity, consistency, credibility, and competitiveness. So consistency, everything we communicate to the customer has to be in keeping with that general vibe that we're trying to give out. So Nike's Just Do It campaign, where they're trying to put out a vibe that anybody, whether you're a couch potato or an Olympic athlete, can just wear these runners and get out there and go running. If you have never run before, you can get involved in a couch to 5K and just do it. That is the whole point of that campaign. If as part of that campaign, they sponsored a pizza eating contest or something of that nature, that's an inconsistent, it's an incongruent message. They don't match up with each other. They're in conflict and it sends a confusing message. So everything, and if you think of Red Bull's campaigns, they sponsor soapbox races, cliff diving, Formula One, all these. The vibe they're putting out is energy, gives you wings. You drink this and you're flying for the day. So that's all about energy, fun, excitement, and anything that they are associated with has to match those the same vibes. Snowboarding, all of that kind of thing. So they have to be consistent in that message. Credibility, there has to be a good matchup there. And competitiveness, you have to know what's going on in the wider world as well. So I mentioned already Diet Coke and Zero, positioned completely differently, but essentially the same drink. So we've got, we can use this perceptual map to help us identify gaps in the market and so on, or identify what's going on. And so we can see what's going on with other brands. So we can put certain characteristics on the axes so we can compare against two characteristics. In this case, it's high price versus low price. That's one characteristic, and the other is quality. So low quality on the left going to high quality on the right. So obviously, there is a link usually between quality and price. And so high price products, anything that's going to be above the line here, and high quality here, whoops, need to move that. These would be considered premium brands. High price, high quality. That's fairly acceptable. People are happy to pay more when they get more quality. They can afford, and they are particular about the particular class of that class of product, and they want something they can rely on. Sometimes, in rare occasions, you can get very high quality at a low price, and these would be very good bargains. And so that's what we have in the lower right quadrant. Low price, low quality are economy brands. So people who are price conscious, price sensitive, are willing to accept inferior product, a product with less features, if it's going to be cheaper. They are mainly concerned with getting the cheapest product. If it still just barely satisfies their need, they're happy enough with that because money is an issue for them. And so they actively are looking for economy brands. And so they serve a function in the marketplace. Now, the outlier is if you have a product that is actually low quality, but they are charging a high price. This is where you do not want to be. These are cowboy brands, on artists, or whatever way you want to put it. This is not what we are in marketing to do. This goes against, good ethics and good business, because, as I've said many times, it is good business usually to be good. And if your brand develops a reputation for being low quality but high price, that is going to be a very short-lived brand on the market. People will tell each other, tell the world to avoid buying that brand, and you will be out of business before you know it. So, very short-term approach. Now, we can, as I said, we can use this idea, this graph, a perceptual map, and we can put any characteristic we want on these axes. So if we were a supermarket chain, we're wondering, should we go into that country X? And we analyze what kind of supermarkets have they got already. We analyze the market based on, are they high price to low price on average for their, most products? And do they have a wide product range or a narrow product range? So there's a continuum here. Sorry, I'm going to have to let the dog out. Okay, go on. Go on. So we assess the market. We look at what supermarket companies or chains are operating in this country X, and we see that we've got companies A, B, C, and D, all roughly speaking in the high price range, sort of just above mid range, but they have a wide product range, so they would have some kind of popularity. And then there's also a few chains. They are offering low price with a narrow range, so they're in the economy kind of quadrant, targeting customers who have low budget and are willing, to just to have less choice in order to have cheaper products. What there isn't, so maybe we're company X and we decide, you know what, here's where we want to be. We have in our business model, we want to offer a wide product range at reasonably low prices. We're not going down as quite as low as E and F there, but we're less than G. And so we're coming in and the mid to low range, and we think that we can operate in that area. So it's a sort of tool, a visual tool to describe maybe in the boardroom where you're planning to go and so on, and help make decisions. Here's other scenarios using the same perceptual map is what we call this. So Kotler demonstrates perceptual maps can also indicate how customers perceive competitive brands performing on key product user benefits. Kotler provides the following hypothetical examples. He starts by considering the various products that serve the US breakfast market. So a producer might be interested, for example, in entering the instant breakfast market. This is a subsection of the breakfast market as a whole. It's necessary to plot the position of the various instant breakfast brands. And so on the vertical axis, we've got expensive going down to inexpensive. And in terms of how long it takes to prepare the breakfast, something parents are very interested in and busy people in general, is it slow to prepare or very quick? So cold cereal is quite obvious, very quick. You just have to pour it and eat it. Boom. So that falls into the quick, but can be a little on the expensive side. I wouldn't have thought so, but this evaluation has termed it the branded cold cereals perhaps are in the expensive bracket. Instant breakfasts, of which, Pop-Tarts, all sorts of things, some other kinds of things that don't require a lot of standing over it, in the inexpensive bracket. Also inexpensive but slower to cook are pancakes and hot cereal. So hot cereal typically implying porridge that you may have to stand over and stir and so on, or in a microwave, but still takes time stirring, put it back in again. Bacon and eggs also slow, but being more fresh produce and so on, expensive. So we end up then with we keep going with these perceptual maps, and once we have something we want to expand it further. So then we create a new perceptual map and we start looking at high prices per pound or per ounce, whichever way. I mean, this is an odd diagram. It should be the same both sides, but per weight, high prices per weight versus low price per weight. Because it might be expensive to buy the whole packet, but that packet might last a very long time. So this is kind of a more accurate description of whether or not it's expensive or inexpensive, per morning, I guess. And we have calories now, because perhaps this producer of instant breakfasts is interested to see what's out there in low calorie versus high calorie, and expensive to inexpensive. So we've got brands A, B, and C, and they're each in different quadrants. So brand A is high in calories and also expensive, slightly above the line. And below the line in expense, but still high in calories, is brand B. And then brand C is low in calories, but pricey as well. And so for anything that we want to do, we can put different categories. We can put reliability against value or something like that. Customer service. So segmentation can be used in the context of a marketing strategy in which positioning of products and repositioning of a brand in the market plays a crucial role. Repositioning is the strategy of changing the customer's perception of a company or brand by reference to quality or price in order to take advantage of market preference. So in looking at repositioning strategies, we love box diagrams in marketing. So if it helps, you can think of it as a graph with a vertical axis and a horizontal axis, whatever way, or usually in marketing, we seem to use these 4 boxes, simplistic kind of thing. So it's same or different on the horizontal axis in terms of the product. So we might be repositioning, but are we repositioning? Are we redesigning our products, our range, or are we still using the products, but we're doing something else? So, and then whether or not we want the same target market or we're branching into a new target market. So if we're keeping the same product and we're keeping the same people, the same segment, the target segment, then we're just changing the image. It's an image repositioning. If the product, we're redesigning products, we're designing new products with the same target market, it's a product repositioning. If we are changing the product, but also changing the target market, maybe we're moving into a new country, or it's a new segment within the same territory, it's a tangible repositioning. And if it's just the people we're changing, but the product is staying the same, it's intangible repositioning. So Bulmers cider, God, it's probably a couple of decades ago that it went through a repositioning. In previous generations, cider was seen as a wino, people drinking on the street sort of a drink, or the first drink when if teenagers are going drinking in a field, they might get cider, and it had a bad image as this kind of down and out kind of drink, and a drink for delinquents to go and get drunk on and stuff like that. And Bulmers, the brand in Ireland, repositioned the product and tried to go on a premium end with a full strategy. So it was the same product, but looking for new audience. And it was to be honest, it was partly image repositioning and partly intangible, because they were looking for new customers, new sort of young professionals, and the student market as well. There is overlap. The student market always liked cider, and the Bulmers brand in Ireland was always perhaps the most popular one. It was always the more expensive one, so they kind of took that image and pushed it beyond, and repositioned as this high end. If you're having a barbecue, have your Bulmers on ice, and so on, and it became a sign of summer and good times and beer gardens and all of that. Okay, so here we have some descriptions. So taking each quadrant, so we're starting with the top left here, image repositioning. The first option is to keep both the target market and the product unchanged, but to change the image of the brand or product. In this scenario, marketers work on improving the image and perception of the product by its customers and not on its features. Then product repositioning. With this strategy, the product is changed while the target market remains the same. So this may be as a result of technological advancements that make the original product less desirable. So they've upgraded in some way, it could be. So that's moving over into the right. And next, intangible repositioning. So we're talking about the Bulmers scenario in Ireland and across the world, actually, in their Magners brand. Intangible repositioning strategy requires the company to target a different market with the same product, so a different set of people. So it's not people who are looking for the cheapest alcohol available in the off license. It's people who actively want to drink this for the sake of drinking it. It's associated, as I said, with sunshine, beer gardens, barbecues, and it's moving it into from a low class, low reputation product to this fun and sophisticated product. So when marketers discover that their product appeals to a wider range of customers than the original market segment, this strategy will apply. So as I said, this is where Bulmers and Magners by extension had their repositioning a number of years ago. So exam type questions that could come up on these topics are: outline 2 reasons for organizations undertaking segmentation of their markets, or explain 3 popular methods of consumer market segmentation. Give examples of each of these. Target marketing requires marketers to take 3 major steps. STP. What are they? Briefly explain what's involved. Target marketing, again, STP, has certain advantages and disadvantages. Identify and explain 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages of target marketing, and what are the main benefits of market segmentation to marketers. So again, there is like a neat slide explaining some of that. Let's see, there's a bit of overlap perhaps. In order to determine whether a company has properly segmented market, 5 criteria are usually considered. So there is a slide that we've looked at that has that. And so on. So in class, in some of the tutorials, we're going to go through some of those questions and discuss how to answer them. So we will leave it there for now. Thank you. Hi, Kevin.